Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much to my subscribers. Welcome newcomers. I hope you like what you see, and if so, be part of this journey with us. We are one growing YouTube family. Thank you so much. If you also like the video, please give a thumbs up. It helps to circulate the video worldwide and people get to recognize our video, our group, our family. Thank you so much. I also would like to mention to you that I do have a crochet private group on Facebook. If you do have a profile, then you're more than welcome to join. You have to have a profile because there's a lot of scammers going around into the crochet groups, and I'm removing myself from them and keeping just one or two that I'm comfortable with. Besides that, I'm taking myself off the other ones. There's too much scamming going on. Be careful with the links that says bit on it. Those are fraud scammers that go through your phone if you're using your phone or your computer. You have to be extremely careful. I also have a crochet page. You can follow me through there. It's the same name, Crochet Art Tutorials by Maggie Lopez. And I also like to mention up top, there's 3 little buttons. You can slow down the video to the speed you would like. Right next to it, there's the closed caption. Everything I will say will be written down here. You can pause the video, take notes, and makes it much easier on everybody. If you have a tight stitch, use a hook bigger, one size bigger. If your stitch is too loose, use a hook one size smaller. It helps to create these beautiful patterns. I hope I'm not forgetting anything. Also, I have the PayPal account below in my description box for donations for the women in need of yarn and thread. They're desperately in need. I would appreciate if you guys can help me to get these threads and yarns to these women by donating whatever you feel like. It doesn't have to be millions. Anything counts. Below my video also there's a dollar sign, I think with a little bag or something. That's out of YouTube. These are for the people to help the designers, creators with donations. If anybody is pretending to give me anything, to donate anything for myself by clicking underneath my video where the dollar sign is, I intend to take whatever donations I get for myself and put it towards the women in need. This is my attention to do. I am committed to help these women out, so please help me to help them. Thank you so much. I think I pretty much covered everything. I hope I didn't forget anything. Okay, so let's get started, everyone. Okay, everyone, so for this project of this beautiful rug we're going to create, I'm going to use the blue and the white. I had started in black and pink, and I did the bow tie already, but I ran out of black, so I'm going to be obligated to do a tutorial on the blue until I can get some black back in to the island, and I'll show you here the black of it. So we're going to get started on this. This is a 5-ply, 80% cotton thread, 20% fibers, and I'm going to use a 5.5 hook on it. Okay, let's get started, everyone. So the first thing you want to do is make that magic circle. Turn it once in your hand. Put your thread in position. Now, for people that are using yarn, I get questioned that a lot when it's for rugs. What do you do for it not to slip? They do sell the back parts to stick on the pattern so it does not slide on the ground. My threads are thick, and they're most 99.9% of the time they're cotton threads, so it becomes very heavy. Since they're thick, it's heavy, so it does not move. But if you're using lighter weight or yarn, you can buy the back part and stick it onto your pattern. You could check on Amazon or any other local stores you guys usually buy your threads from, and take it from there. Okay, so magic circle. Inside of this magic circle, we're going to do 16 double crochets. Okay, and then once we do the 16 double crochets, we're going to come on the first one, close it in on the third space with slip stitch. Now, for people that still have a hard time with the magic circle, do 6 chain, close it in with slip stitch, and continue on to do your 16 double crochets. Now for row 2, we're going to do, I call it the walk, right over to the next double crochet and do a single and 2 chain. In the same space, we're going to do another double crochet. So this round will be 2 double crochets per space. Okay, So very simple. This is row 2. And we're going to do this until row 9, not the same way, because only this row 2 is 2 in the same space. The next row we're going to do 2 together in the same space, 1 alone, 2 together, 1 alone, 2 together, 1 alone. So I'll meet you on the third row. So I've closed in with a slip stitch on the third chain. I'm going to do the walk again into the next space, and this is just a way so it doesn't leave a big mark on the beginning of your stitches. Okay, so I think I grabbed my thread here wrong. Single, 2 chain in the same space, another double crochet, next space 1 alone, next space 2 double crochet, in the same space, next space 1 alone, next space 2 together. So this is going to be repeatedly the same way all the way around row 3. Okay, everyone, going into row 4 again, do the walk over to the next double crochet, do a single and chain 2 in the same space, another double crochet, next space 1 double crochet alone, next space another double crochet alone, next space 2 together, and again 1 double crochet alone, another double crochet alone, and the next one 2 together. This row will be repeatedly the same way all the way around. Now from here on until the 9th row we're going to proceed the same way. So we started with 1, we did 2 on each space on the second row, third row 2 together, 1 alone, 2 together, 1 alone, fourth row 2 together, 2 alone, 2 together, 2 alone, fifth row 2 together, 3 alone, 2 together, 3 alone, sixth row 2 together, 4 alone, 2 together, 4 alone. We're going to continue that until the 9th row, and then we're going to cut our thread on the 9th row after we proceed this way. So it's not complicated. We have 1 alone, 2 alone, then 3 alone, 4 alone, 5 alone, 6 alone, okay, until we meet the 9th row. And I'll be back with you at the 9th row. Okay, everyone, so I pretty much did my 9 rows. Now, because this is a 5-ply, not an 8-ply or a 6-ply, it's going to be smaller, like more, can be used more of a doily, but it will be a big doily, of course, or a very small rug to put in a kid's little table area where they draw, they play, or things like that, or decoration or whatever. Okay, so row 9, I completed. That means now I'm coming in with the white, and exactly where we left off with the 2 double crochets together, I'm going to come in into the one right next to it. So we left off over here, we closed off with the slip stitch. So exactly where we usually go up, chain 3, correct? So right after, so I'm not doing it, I'm not going to connect where we have chain 3, nor the same one on the same space. I'm coming into the next one right after that. Okay, and I'm going to do single, 2 chain. I'm going to come in the same space again and create another double crochet. Next space, double crochet. Next space, double crochet. So basically, just a reminder, where we left off on the 9th row, we have those 2 together, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 alone. So basically this one we're going to have, it's going to be a repeat but in white, 2 together, and now 8 alone. Okay, try to pull my thread here. It's just that we're changing colors, obviously. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and on your 9th we're doing 2 together because we have to have 8 alone, right? And then again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 alone, and on the 9th, 2 together. This is row 10. Okay, so I'll meet you at the end. Okay, everyone, so I finished row 10 going into row 11. So we ended up where the 2 double crochets are together. I'm just gonna walk, I call it the walk, into the next double crochet like we've been doing, and I'm going to do a single and 2 chains. Next space, double crochet, next space, double crochet. So now we have a group of 3 double crochets. I'm going to do 2 chains, skip a space, and continue to do these groups all the way around this row the same way. 2 chain and skip a space into the next space. Continue to create your 3 double crochet groups. Just like that. Okay, so I'll meet you at the end. We're going to close it after we do our 2 chain separation here between the groups, and I'm going to close on the 3rd space. Okay, everyone, so we pretty much finished doing row 11. Now, you might notice that sometimes it could be pleating a little bit, especially people that have extremely tight stitch. That's probably going to pleat quite a bit. Now, when we are doing these rows in white now, because of the chains here, it all depends on your tension, okay? So I started with 2. This next row I'm going to do 2 again. Now, the next row, I'll see if I can get away with 2, because that's just going to bring the pattern in together. So don't stress over it. Even if it looks like a little bit pleaty, it will all come together once you get your chains up here, your tension properly. So we're going to do the walk, as I call it, the walk with the slip stitch into the center of the squares. We're going to continue these groups, okay, all the way around the same way, groups of 3 and 2 chain separation. Now, remembering everybody's tension is different. If you're extremely tight, then you can do, instead of 2 chain, you can do 3. It all depends on you, right? We don't want the pattern to be too pleaty or too loose either. It won't look nice. So, like I said, if it's pleating a bit on the centerpiece here, now it looks kind of weird, but if we stretch it, okay, it almost comes together, but it will come together now It's going to stop making these little pleats. Once we continue and finish our row, it's going to come together, okay? So let's continue to do this all the way around, and then we're going to close it up after our chain 2 on the 3rd chain. Okay, everyone, so I pretty much did my 9, 10, 11, 12 row. Now, as you can see already, there is no mountains on the center pattern. It already became flat due to the fact that I did still the 2 chains. Now we're going to continue the same way for 6 rows, and that's counting already from this one, not the old stitch, this one, this is 2 until 6 rows. Okay, now you play with your chains because it depends on everyone's tension is different. I might do 2, but you might need 3, or I might do 3 and you might only need 2. You have to make sure that you lay out your pattern and see if it falls flat. If it doesn't and it's crumpling out, either it's pulling too much, then you give an extra chain. If it's too loose, like mountainy, you know what I'm saying, like all like this, then you know that you need to tighten your stitch more on the chain. So I'm going to continue mine, and I'm going to do 6 rows, and then I'll come back to you on the 6th row. Okay? Hey everyone, so I pretty much finished doing my rows in white. Now if I count from the first white one here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 rows. If I count only from the groups, we have 7 rows. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to cut my thread and I'm going to come in with a blue. Now you can go higher on this doily rug, whatever you want to make. Of course, you know, using thinner thread, it will become a doily. Using thicker thread, it will become a big rug. So I'm going to change into my blue and come back to you on the next row. I just want to remind you that to create the edge that I'm going to create, we need to have an even number of loops. So I have 40 blocks here. So if you're going bigger, just make sure that you do have even numbers, okay, of blocks. Okay, everyone. So, like I said, we have 8 rows counting from the white, okay? Now, on my last row here, I did chain 3. All my other ones is chain 2. But like I've mentioned, it all depends on your stitch, on your tension, if you might need to go chain higher or smaller if you're too loose on your stitch, okay? So we're going into row 9 from the white, of course. I'm coming into the space here, and we're going to create 2 groups of 3 double crochet. So single, 2 chain, come back in, another double crochet, trying to hide my thread as I go, and another double crochet, chain 2 for space, and another group of 3 double crochets. 1 chain. For some of you, is 2 chain if your tension is too tight. And I'll see as I go. If my tension is too tight, I will do a 2 chain myself. 1 chain again. And I'm coming into the next space. I can see already it's too tight. So I'm going to do a 2 chain. And I'm not going to make it too tight. I'm going to try to loosen it as much as I can. And I was making a mistake already. I thought I was making a mistake. I wasn't. Okay, so 2 chain again, and I'm coming in to the next blockage and create my 2 groups of 3 double crochet, space of 2 chain, and again on the same space, 3 more double crochet. 2 chain again, next space, 1 double crochet alone. We're going to proceed this way all the way around, and I'll meet you at the end. Okay, everyone, so I finished row 9 going into row 10. I've closed in with a slip stitch. I'm coming up, chain 3 and 1 for space. Into my next double crochet, I'm going to do double crochet, 1 chain for space, next double crochet, 1 chain for space. Inside of the loop, I'm doing 1 double crochet, 1 chain for space, and 1 more double crochet, 1 chain for space, and we're going to continue on doing the same thing to this side. So I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 1 chain, coming in where I have my double crochet, and I'm coming in with a single, 1 chain, and repeat the same thing all the way around. Double crochet, 1 chain for space, double crochet, 1 chain for space, double crochet, 1 chain for space, and 2 double crochets here in the center with 1 chain for space. Okay, and continue on. I'll meet you at the end. Okay, everyone, so I pretty much finished doing all around. We're going into row 20, and this is the last row for the pattern, and then we're going to go into the bow tie and into the ears. So the first thing you want to do is you're going to come in between, it doesn't matter which motive you're working on, in between the 2 double crochets with a single. Try to hide your thread. We're going to do the peacock. So single, 3 chain, come in, try to get into your, with a single, and you have your first peacock. Going to the second one, and 1, 2, 3 chain again, come in the first loop here of the single, and close it in peacock. Next space. So we're going to do, we have 8. So I'm going to go afterwards right in the center on that one here, and the loop will be bigger. So 1, 2, and 3. And again, come inside and peacock. So now we have 3 peacocks. So I'm coming into the center where we did the 2 double crochets. And I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 chain. You don't have to do this. If you want to continue just with the 3 chain, you can go ahead. I'm just giving it another little look. Coming again into the next 1, 2, 3, and peacock, close in with single. Next space, single, 1, 2, and 3, and again into the next space, 1, 2, and 3, and peacock. Okay, so now we have 3 peacocks on this side with 3 chain, 1 in the center with 6 chain, and then 3 peacocks again. So now I'm going to do a triple crochet. We're going to be using the 2 bottom ones here, the first ones here, okay, of the double crochet. So I've turned twice. I have 3 in my hook. I'm going to come down from the back, or in the middle here, to the back to the front. This is basically a front post. Now I know some of you have a hard time with front posts, but this is so simple. Just concentrate yourself. So I've closed in my first, and don't make it too tight because you have to give it enough space, okay? And then again, I'm going to roll it again 3 times, and this time I'm coming from the outside in to the third double crochet here. I have to grab my thread properly. Give it a nice stretch. Again, from the side, give it a nice stretch and do your triple crochet. Now you're going to come again between the 2 double crochets here. I hope I'm centered in the camera because sometimes I get distracted. And again, single 1, 2, and 3. And close it in with slip stitch. So we have our first motive there. And then again, 1, 2, and 3. Come into your single and close it with the single. Next space. So you got to do your 3 picots with 3 chain if you're doing exactly like me, and then the center one with 6 chain. So I did my 3. I'm coming into the center now. Okay. 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5, and 6. And I think I'm going to close it in exactly here in the center so they can line up properly. So I'm going to do another single in there. And then into the next space. 1, 2, and 3. I think it will work better this way. And next space. 1, 2, and 3. And the last one. I think it comes out to the same thing. Anyway, trying to see which one looks better. Yeah, I think I like this one better, coming back into the same space. Okay, triple again. So I'm coming in again into the first double crochet here right below. Give it a good stretch. We don't want it to be pulling too much. And we have our first motive again. Again, triple. Coming into the last one here. Give it a good stretch and triple. And then come in between the double crochets, single, and create your picot again. So this is what it's starting to look like. I think it will look stunning. I'm sure you remember, for some of you that follow me, I have done this design in doilies, and I'm not the creator of the design itself, but I have changed the stitch up. Just a reminder for some of you, okay? So this is how it is. I'll meet you at the end. Okay, everyone, so I pretty much finished doing the rest of my edge. Now, I've created 2 years already, and the years are created the same way as we did here. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4. On my last row, I did, after the 4 rows, I did a single crochet all the way around. Okay, so you need 2 of the same size to have the ears put on, which for the new beginners, they don't know, they might not know what's the single crochet, because I sure remember very clearly when I first started, I had no clue on the names on these stitches. So basically, you go up 1 chain. After you close in, after you do your 4 rows, you follow exactly the same thing as the center of the pattern here. Single, next space, single, next space, single, and again. That's all you have to do. You get to the end and you close it up, cut your thread, tuck in the loose ends, so you're going to have 2 of the same size. So then afterwards we can either stitch on or glue on, okay? And then we're going to create the bow tie. Like I was mentioned at the beginning, I was creating it pink and black, but I ran out of black, so I decided to go ahead with the blue. I said, why not, and finish up the rest of the set for the baby's room, baby boy's room, okay? So I'll be back once I'm done with this. Okay, so my 2 circles are done, and now what I'm going to do, I want to straighten out my pattern. As most of you, or a lot of you, have seen my last video, my little trick to straighten it out when it's a little bit, you know, flabby like that. So what I do is any softener, laundry softener, doesn't matter the brand, you just, and it smells really good, so you just poof poof it on. You stretch your pattern very nice and stretched. You got to make sure you get all of those edges nice and stretched. This is almost like you're ironing, so it's damp. At the same time, this blocks your stitches. So you're doing the blocking already because it's damp. It's just going to secure everything in. So you stretch it well. And you put in an area flat, straight for it to dry. As you can see, it's already coming pretty straight just from stretching it a little bit. And again, just pull onto those edges nice and straight and let it dry up. And once it's dry up, you know, by the time you finish your ears and the bow tie, it should be dry already. So we can either stitch however you feel more comfortable or glue it on. I usually do my gluing and nothing ever comes out because it's glued improperly. Okay, so I'll be back with you to do the bow tie. So the first thing I want to do is the slip stitch knot. And I'm going to do 20 chain. And depending upon the how big is your pattern, obviously you'll put this on top of the face because my pattern's drying. You know it's going to be more or less this distance. And then you're going to measure it once you have your chains in to see if this is the right size you want, so you continue on your chain. I'm going to try 20. The pink one that I have created, because it is a much bigger pattern. It's a different size of thread. This is done with, I believe, 30. So I'm going to go with 20 chain. Just like that until 20. I mean, for some of you should know which size you need. So I've done my 20 chains plus 3 more for turning. So I'm going to count back 1, 2, 3 on the 4th one. I am going to do double crochet. Now I'm going to do double crochet all the way to the edge, to the end. 1 per space. Make sure you grab both loops or else it's going to bend. We don't want it to bend. We want it to be nice and flat. Okay. Okay, so I think I have a pretty good size. We don't want it to overpass too much because we still have stitches to do. And I don't want it to be too large out. Anyway, worst case scenario, we could always pull the ears a little bit more in and have a nice straight fit. Okay. So now we're going to turn our work. Chain 2 for me, chain 3 for some of you. I'm going to grab back loops only because I want this bow tie to have the effect. So I'm doing double crochet on each loop again. And coming around on the 3rd row, I'm going to do the same thing. Once I turn around, I'm going to be grabbing back loops again right back here. As you can see, I'm doing here. Just so you can give it a nice effect and be different than everybody else, or at least most people's bow ties or so. So I'll meet you at the end. So I finished my row. Now make sure you get until the very last one, because this very last one sometimes is forgotten. When we get here, it's so tied in that we seem to turn around without grabbing the last one. So the same amount of stitch you have down here, you must have the same amount up here, or else your bow tie is not going to look pretty at all. It's going to start curving. So turn around back loops again, and you repeat the same thing. Now, it all depends how thick you want your bow tie. On the pink one, I have 6 rows. I'm probably going to do only 5 rows because the pink one is thicker and it's bigger. So I'm probably going to do 5 rows on this one. I'm going to check on my 5th row if that's the exact wideness that I want for my bow tie. You could always advance the video and see how far I'm in. Okay, so I ended up doing 6 rows because 5 rows was too thin. So I did my 6, and of course because this thread's a little bit thinner than the pink one, so it works out just perfect. Now coming here to the end, I mean depending upon how big you want your rows, I'm doing 1 chain, I'm coming in sideways doing singles. I'm going to do singles all the way around, so you'd go in between the rows and do your single right in the stitch, because if you do it over the double crochet, it's going to leave a hole, a space. It ain't gonna look pretty. So try to get your single right on the stitch, in the middle of the stitch, because if you do it in this opening, that's not gonna look good. So I'm going to do it right in the center of the double crochet and then in between the rows, okay? And now we're going to do that all the way around. Now make sure when you get to the corner, you're doing inside of the double crochet, and you're going to do 2 singles in the corner just to have that curve turning, okay? And then everything else stays the same. So just in the middle of the double crochets, 1 per space, and we continue on. Okay? I just want to show you I'm right in the corner there where we first started. That's why I still have a bit of string, but I'm going to hide it. So I did my last single. I'm coming back in the same space and creating 1 more single just to get that curve going, and then into where the row separates, okay? And then coming into the double crochet again, because I don't want to leave a space, and then right on the line of the rows, okay? And it's just coming out nice and perfect. Okay, so now what you want to do is, since we have these rows almost like a 3D, just going to pleat it like we used to pleat the paper fans once upon a time when we were younger, right? So you want to do that. You're going to grab your blue, or if you have silk ribbon, that's perfect too. I don't have enough silk ribbon to wrap it around, so I'm going to do it with my blue thread. So what you want to do is you want to leave a little bit of thread behind, because we're going to need it after to tie it in the back, okay? So you're going to squeeze it well together. And then you're just going to wrap and wrap and wrap until the thickness that you would like your blue. So I don't know, maybe 20, 30 times, depending on how thick your thread is. And just go around and around. And tie this other one back here. Now once you think it's thick enough, then you stop there. You cut your thread. You bring it whatever side. See, this side looks better, so we're going to tie it on the messy side, which is this side here. So I'm going to bring my thread up like this. And I'm going to make a knot, a couple of knots actually. We want to make sure that nothing comes apart. So for some reason this is not tied in properly, so I'm going to come around again. give it a nice tightness so it can form that beautiful little bow tie, and make a few knots on it. Okay, I'll come back to you as soon as I am done and safe with it. Okay, so our bow tie is pretty much done. You just fix it, you know, you get it properly fixed into place. Sometimes it gets all crumpled up because of the wrapping. Okay, and then we're going to make the little circles just to decorate a bit like we have here, which is nothing special, magic circle. You do 12 double crochets, or you can make 10 double crochets. I did 14, 12, and 10 on this one. This is a smaller pattern, so I'm going to have to make them smaller. So it all depends upon your pattern, the thickness of your pattern, how big it is, in order to be doing these little dots, okay? You can also use pearls for it if you want black pearls, or just black button, blue buttons, whatever you are using, okay? So I'm going to do, I'll see how many I'm going to do. I'll check the length, how big I want them on here. Okay, you guys, so I've done 10 because I know this is like too small. And I'm probably only going to have like 2 on here because it's a very small bow tie. Now, there's 2 ways you can go about. You can, the strings I told you to leave it a little bit long. You can come back here and you can tie it back here because it won't show once the bow tie is on the pattern because it will be glued. Either that, or you can just glue your little dots here. Okay, but you can bring it to the back, the 2 threads, and you can just tie it together. I mean, tight, but not that tight, because then you're going to be pulling too much on the bow tie. Okay, so you can do a few 2, 3 knots here just to make sure, and you can also afterwards glue to make sure that they all stay in place. Okay, so we're gonna make, I'm gonna make 4. I done this one with 10, and I'm probably gonna make another one, either 10 or 8, and we're gonna do it for this side and this side. Okay, so I'll come back with you once I'm done. Okay, everyone, so basically what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to glue with transparent hot glue just a bit, just to make sure that it's not like lifted, you know, just a little bit around the edge, just to get it nice and secure into position here, and just press. Now I've taken a picture of the pattern itself without putting the ears and the bow tie, which is a beautiful pattern. You can make it as a doily for your table or any area in your house. I'll pin up the picture. And do the same thing to this side. So basically now you just line up where you want your ears to go. And if it looks good to you, then this is where you glue on. Okay? So very simple. So you don't have to put much, just a little bit of glue just to get it through, you know, onto the pattern. You gotta measure it. If it's running a bit on the first row, then you gotta do the same thing to this side, okay? And then just Put your glue through it. And you need to compress. Just make sure it's not getting whatever underneath, like I have the towel underneath. And then just go around the edges to make sure that everything is glued in. And then, of course, you would do the same thing to the bow tie and have it glued in. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Thank you so much to every single one of you. Please give a thumbs up. Like I mentioned at the beginning, I'm not the designer, let's say, of the rug itself or the idea, came up with the idea with such things. But I am the designer of my own design and creation. Okay? So thank you, everyone. Until next time, much blessings to every single one of you. I send you light of love and health. Take care of yourselves and each other. Bye-bye, everyone. I will have the pictures at the end, the reveal shots, okay?